welcome back to Real Reds Talk, your favourite football fan channel made in Manchester. Just me and Sam tonight to discuss all the latest news surrounding the club. We've got something fun planned towards the end of the show as well. But before we dive into that, how are we doing, Sam?
Yeah, not too bad. Bit of a quiet week. Well, quiet week. I say quiet for Manchester United. So let's hope it stays that way. But there's been a couple of stuff leaking out that I don't like. But we'll see what happens.
I was going to ask a quiet week in reference to like yourself or a quiet week in terms of United, but you've obviously explained that there for me. How are we all doing in the chat as well? Let us know your opinions as we go through the topics on the table. We've got probably 3 or 4 topical bits to discuss, and like I said, we've got something fun towards the end, which is mainly related to the thumbnail. So do stick with us. We're going to start off with the January transfer window, Sam. Of course, we're only in October at the minute, so still quite a while until we get to it. But there's been a couple of quotes coming out from Rob Dawson today, which I thought was interesting. And he's basically said that Manchester United don't see the January transfer window as a proper transfer window. Why do you think, just your personal opinion, we never do business in January? Do you think it's an excuse to not spend money, or what is it?
I think that's one of the reasons. They just don't want to spend money because the Glazers are very famous for that. We get 150, 200 million every summer. That's it. That's all you get. Once you've spent that, you don't get any more. And people, they use the old excuse, in it. There's no value in the market in January. There's no decent players available. You have to overpay, which are true to an extent, but I wouldn't say always the case. We have got people in who have made fantastic contributions to Manchester United. Vidic, Evra, so Bruno. So I don't think it's always the case. I think it's about the right player at the right time for a decent enough price. Are you going to pay a little more in January than you are in the summer? Probably, but needs a must at that point, are you? The club who's selling is in the better position there because they don't have to sell, and you want the player. So it's just kind of is what it is. Personally, I just think for the Glazers, it's just a case of they don't want to spend money and they don't want to dip the money in the pockets. We saw what happened last year when Ten Hag needed a striker. What did we do? Loan Weghorst, which do you know what I mean? So. I like Sabitzer a lot, but injury prone. Never got quite fully up to sort of what we wanted from him, and he's continued that at Dortmund. He got injured in the first Champions League game, I believe, as well, didn't he? So, and then Weghorst, bless the lad, he tried, but he's not good. Just not good, is he?
You can't just have a player who tries at United. That's the issue, isn't it?
And and just think if they would have backed him in the market then and got João Felix, someone like that. Do you know what I mean? That kind of caliber. Who knows? We might have won that FA Cup. We might have been able to push a bit more in the Europa League, etc. So it's all about backing your manager. If he thinks he needs it and there's a clear, obvious hole, you need to do that. You need to fulfill that. But at United, that just doesn't happen. It just doesn't. Yeah. And that's the way it's going to continue. So anybody who's annoyed or was expecting us to spend in January, realise the club you're supporting and realise the club you're looking at, because we don't do shit like this. We don't plan ahead. We panic and then last minute try and fix shit. That's what we do.
It's bizarre, that, isn't it? That kind of idea that United don't, a club like United don't plan ahead. That seems so strange. I know it feels like we started doing it now because Ten Hag is kind of putting a demand on the club to start talking to players now and stuff. That's why you're seeing us linked with centre-backs in a minute. Inacio, I think you pronounce it. There's a couple of other Portuguese centre-back, Andre Silva. We're looking at Antonio Silva, I think it is, sorry. So, obviously plans are being put in place, but like you said, with how restricted the funds are usually in January, it's like, what, are we just going to get another loan again until the end? We're probably going to lose a player in Jadon Sancho going out as well, so I'm not very optimistic ahead of that. But we have been linked with a certain striker, Sam, in Ivan Toney in January, and I want to get your thoughts on this, because I thought with Rasmus coming in now, obviously we looked at it, it'd be, he needs time to develop, he should have a senior striker next to him. But do we still need an Ivan Toney, do you think?
I think we need depth in that position, clearly, because Anthony Martial can't be relied upon. He could play, 20 minutes?
What he said?
What?
Martial, by the way, saying that he thinks he wants to be the main man, he's going to look elsewhere and all that. There's
Good.
a couple of quotes coming out.
See you in a bit.
Yeah.
See you later, mate. Like,
I was thinking the same thing.
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, I don't give a toss. Like, he's,
Yeah.
I like, again, like the lad. I think on his day is a very, very good player.
Yeah.
Can't stay fit. That's the end of it. Like, and the number one ability is reliability in a football team, and he hasn't got it. Like, he's never had it for us, and it's like that's the way that's the way you've got to take it, and just sort of go, look, he ain't good enough. He ain't gonna be fit enough. Let him go. Vegas had the opposite problem. Was available constantly, worked his ass off, was always fit, but no ability. So it's like that's the sort of tightrope we're walking. I think, yeah, if in terms of Ivan Toney, I think, is he a good striker? Absolutely. Fantastic striker. I think he was only behind like Kane and Haaland in terms of numbers, wasn't he, in the league last season? So, especially for a team like Brentford on a budget there on, I think that's fantastic numbers, and he's really, really, really exciting striker. Got everything you want. The issue is, how much is he going to cost? That's the big factor, because Brentford ain't letting him go for cheap. Like, it ain't happening, especially to us, especially to United.
Well, it says in this thing, Brentford wants 60 million, but I'm sure they'd want more than that.
Yeah.
And you could get more than that. At 27 years old, in his prime, like, top goal scorer.
Haaland was what, 74?
More. So it was, I think 65 million pounds. So
Right.
by that basis,
Yeah,
that's
Tony's
why I'm saying it should be
75.
more, right?
Tony's 75,
Yeah.
80 million. And he's English.
Yeah.
He's in the Premier
Yes.
League and United tax. So top all that
whether
up,
you agree with the tax or not, it's irrelevant.
it's a fact. It's a fact. So that's the case. Also, he hasn't played football it will be in January for 6 months. Like, nothing at all. I think he only started training with it. He was only allowed to train with the team like up last week or two.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't even allowed to train. So what sort of condition is he going to be in? Is it going to take him a while to catch up to speed? Because if that's the case, why are we getting him? Why are we spending it? Is it for next season? Because then we could just wait till summer anyway and do the deal then. Like, we don't need to do it in January. So I think he'd probably cost more in January than he would in the summer. But yeah, I've heard Arsenal are in for him. It seems like it's all nailed on that he's going to Arsenal. Whether that's true or not, I don't know.
Well, I was just about to say, the striker market, as we've said a million times, isn't the best at the moment. So, and there's quite a few teams without one. I mean, even I'm not suggesting he's going to go to Real Madrid anytime soon, but Madrid don't have a striker.
Chelsea,
Arsenal don't have a striker. Well, they have strikers, but that aren't kind of filling that necessary need. So, where do you think he would suit best out of the teams that are currently available? Do you think Arsenal would probably suit?
It seems like the right fit, doesn't it? He wants to step up and he wants to be the next level. Arsenal are, at the moment, it's early days in the season, obviously, but they seem like they're going to be title challengers at this point. Beat City at the weekend, even though it wasn't a fantastic performance, but 3 points. They beat them. They beat them. That's the result. So they look like they're title challengers. They're in the Champions League. So that would be the next logical step up for a guy. He's still in London, doesn't have to go anywhere, don't have to uproot his family. Arteta seems to do really, really well with like players and developing them and bringing them up to the next level. Like you've seen what he's done with Odegaard. Odegaard's become one of the best midfield players.
Well,
Declan Rice early days, yeah.
The interview that Declan Rice did, he was saying that the difference in detail in training for Arsenal was like levels ahead. So.
Why he bought Kai Havertz, I don't know, but that's by the by, innit? So yeah, Arsenal seems like the most logical step for them to go. I don't see us buying anybody, and if we do, it's not anybody that price point. Because I think if we were a decently well-run club, we would sell Jadon Sancho in January. But we're not gonna, because that's not how we do things. So if we sold him and say we got 50, 60 million, if we're being ambitious, then maybe we can go out and get a striker.
Would you reinvest that then in the striker?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because we've got right wingers to cover. Like, we have people. We've got Ahmad coming back. You got Pellistri. You got Anthony. Rashford can play there if needs be. You've got Garnacho. Mount could play out there. Bruno could play out there. Like, we don't need another right winger, man. Like, we don't. If you want to look at it in the summer, cool, but we don't need it right now. So I would go out and get a striker because Højlund is our only striker in a minute. If he gets injured, it's Martial for 60 minutes and bring him off.
And then
if and when he gets injured, then Rashford, who nobody wants to see down there. So that's what I would do.
Yeah, it's a good point. I was just in two minds because I'm looking at the way Højlund's going now and the way he's developing. I don't want to kind of throw all your eggs in one basket, but I feel like if you bring in someone like Ivan Toney, they're going to start most games.
Yes.
And I feel like that with Rasmus, obviously, naturally is going to slow his game time down, his stunt, his growth a little bit. But maybe we need that. Maybe we need, kind of two strikers. You have City with Erling Haaland and Alvarez, right? So maybe we can do that.
Maybe we can go for like I think Ivan Toney's like top market striker. If you drop down one who's a striker who's happy to play second fiddle, like I know Taremi was mentioned in the summer, relatively cheap, good goal scorer,
just a seasoned,
wouldn't expect to start, like wouldn't be expected to be United, but would want to push for that and try for it. So he's going to give everything to get there. So maybe you go down that route, you get second level striker to back Højlund up. So when you need to rest Højlund, or you want to bring him on for the last 20 minutes or something like that, you've got that option. So I think maybe you could do that, and then you save a bit of money as well for when it comes to the summer, and you can go out and get your number one targets or whoever it is you're after.
Well, I'd be interested to hear everybody else's thoughts who's currently watching right now, whether you're on your laptop, phone, whatever it is. Get your comments in. Ivan Toney, yes or no? Would it stunt Højlund's growth, or would you not be too concerned about that? You just purely want competition in the squad. The last thing I want to touch on before we get into the thing that we planned, the new owners of Manchester United are expected to decide on whether to rebuild Old Trafford for £2 billion or upgrade the current ground for £1 billion. Obviously, whenever the fucking takeover happens, even though there is a lot of noise about Qatar in a minute, where that's coming from, I don't know, but there seems to be something about it from Qatari journalists, all the kind of crap. We have seen it before. But what is your, with that, kind of out of the picture, just on the stadium specifically, what's your personal take on that? I don't know if I've asked you about this before.
To me, I don't, like, I like, I love Old Trafford as in terms of, like, the history and my memories of going there, but I don't have that connection where if they knocked it down and built something new, it wouldn't bother me, to be honest with you.
Oh, that's surprised me. I thought you might have gone the opposite way, but expand on that.
I think
interesting.
I think it's a great stadium, like in terms of what's happened there, the things that have been done. Sir Alex Ferguson, Sir Matt Busby, Bobby Charlton, like everything that has gone through that history, and that'll never go anywhere. We'll always have that. There's video footage, there's photographs, there's documents recording this. Everybody knows about this stuff. I think to compete with the likes of the top teams, every top team is reinvested in their stadium. Real Madrid have just rebuilt the Bernabeu. Barcelona are knocking their stadium down, or whether they actually get to finish that in terms of their China.
They might not have anywhere to play.
Arsenal got a new stadium. Chelsea are looking at a new stadium. Spurs have got a brand new stadium.
Everton,
Atletico Madrid built new.
Gorgeous.
All these teams are building brand new stadiums because all the old stadiums, even though there's history and prestige all built with them, they're not fit for purpose anymore, man. They were crumbling, not modernised, not built for the modern fan. I think that's the way to go with Old Trafford. I understand the people who have got to feel the history and their connection towards it and to modernise it. Cool. I'm all right with that. I'm happy with that. But I think, to me, if you want to have the best stadium in the world, you build a new one. You do what Spurs have done. Spurs has been recognised as one of the best stadiums on the planet in terms of modernised, and I just think we could do something like that and be the envy of the world again in terms of our facilities. Like our training facility 15 years ago was the best state-of-the-art training facility in the world, and now Leicester have got a better one than we have, and they're in the Championship. So I think that's what I would do personally. I don't know about you, but I'd be happy to rebuild.
I want to personally modernise it because, again, I'm one of them. I keep every picture, video. I'm very a bit of a hoarder in that kind of sense. So I just feel like you mentioned with everything, all the history and everything that's been done in there, it wouldn't feel right to me watching a fucking wrecking ball. Obviously it's not going to happen like that. But do you know what I mean? Just looking at Old Trafford and then a big giant wrecking ball going through it, I'd be like, oh, I don't know. I think everyone who's ever been to Old Trafford before, some international fans, of course, haven't been lucky to visit it. But it is a bit of a mess in it when you go in. Like, the facilities are just shit. And this kills me to say, I went and watched Coldplay with my girlfriend at the Etihad, and the hospitality there and the facilities are so much fucking better. Yeah. So much better. And you're like, this is where we are miles behind. So regardless, whichever kind of side of the coin you're on, it needs heavily invested, and it needs a big upgrade to that stadium, because it's for a club like United, it's pretty embarrassing. And the fact that the Euros, everything that's gone on with there, like, we can't hold a game at the stadium that has the biggest capacity domestically. Like, how embarrassing is that for us, not being able to host a game at the Euros?
Yeah, like, well, I love the excuses that United decided to withdraw themselves because they were, in terms of modernising the stadium, and they weren't sure about the work going on. Basically means we're not getting anything done to it for another 5 years, because the Euros is not till 2028. So basically, if we are getting stuff done, it's not going to be for 5 years. So we're basically stuck with the shite that we've got right now until new owners come in, or the Glazers find a couple of billion down the back pocket, or the couch or something like that they're willing to spend on the stadium. Like the roof leaks, like we saw it last week, didn't we? Against Brentford, people just getting pissed on in the Sir Bobby Charlton stand, and apparently United were aware of it, but did fuck all to sort it. It was like, oh yeah, we know about it, but we're not going to do anything. Yeah. It's like, how much is that going to cost? A couple 100,000, 10,000 to fix a roof? It's not that much, man. Like, just fucking fix the roof. But they're not even willing to do that, the Glazers. That's how fucking horrible they are. Like, I've been to toilets where it's just piss has leaked all over the floor. Yeah. So you're just walking through puddles of piss as you go to the toilet.
The food, the beer, like, everything there.
I don't buy anything from the fucking stands. Like, it's just like, what's the point? Do you want lukewarm beer and half a hot dog burnt onto a bun? Like, what do you want? Do you know what I mean?
The bun is like rock solid as well when you bite into it. The cheese and onion paninis have no fucking cheese and onion on them. It's basically just a toasted baguette.
I've not bothered. I've not bothered for about 5 years buying any food from Old Trafford. I probably won't do. I think the rebuild is the best way, because not only could we rebuild a fantastic new stadium, we could build a youth stadium right next to it, because we've got all that land next to Old Trafford. United own it. We own all of it. And we've got loads of space. Build a youth stadium. We could build a women's stadium. Build training facilities. You could build like a fan park. All this stuff like that, make it an amazing experience. We already have the most tourist fans come to our games than any other club in the world. Think of how much money you can milk out of these people. Like, if you're thinking about it from a financial point of view, you can milk so much money and just gain your revenue back. And then in terms of the everyday match going fan like us, it'd be so much more nicer. Like, you'd be willing to spend more time around the stadium, and that because you could go to the fan park, have a couple of drinks, and then walk up to the stadium, or go have a look in like the food places nearby, or maybe you could make like a Mackie Mayo, which is like a food hall if you're not from Manchester. You can make that and make some really good sort of independent restaurants from Manchester. You can do so much with it, and they're just like, nah, keep paying your season ticket, keep paying your match tickets. We ain't gonna do fuck all except occasionally put some red paint on it that we run out of anyway. You remember that last year during COVID? They painted the red and then they ran out of paint and had to order more paint. So that's the way it's gonna be. It's just a fucking shit show, and I hate it because I love United, but going to Old Trafford is just a miserable experience. And I get there now like maybe 5 minutes before the game, just so I don't have to fucking be around it, because it's just terrible, man.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of untapped potential in it with United, which is why everybody's so desperate for this takeover to happen, because once you start investing them funds, like you said, you're going to get it back anyway because of the type of money United make. You make United the best they possibly be on the pitch and off the pitch, the amount of money you'd make is unbelievable. But obviously the Glazers don't understand that. They just use it as a cash cow. We've got Shah Sam saying brand new stadium is what we need. Shreyas is saying love the shirt, Sam. And Scoreboard is saying can't we build brand new stadium, keep the old pitch, rebuild around it for youth and women. Well, I think the area around it, if I'm not mistaken, we do have space to build things like that.
We own
like, the academy and things. So that'd be nice as well. Like you see with the Etihad, have that extension, don't they, with the bridge going over to the academies and stuff. So I think that'd be nice. But yeah, look, we're not holding our breath, are we?
You could do stuff like City do, like they've got the tunnel club where you can go look at the players in the tunnel. You think about that for kids and stuff like that. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Even me, mate, I'd be fucking in there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like kids would be loving that sort of stuff. Yeah. I know City make concessions on tickets because they can't fill the stadium, but United could do the same thing, because at the minute, if you want to go to a United game, you, the mum, and then a couple of kids, it's going to cost you like £200-300. It's a fucking joke. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's like, why is there not more concessions for like young kids? Like, get in for a tenner for young kids to go watch United. Yeah. You get new fans, new generations of fans. Get people,
especially if it's a cup game as well. Like, if you know what I mean.
And if you build a brand new stadium, you go to like 80, 90, maybe even 100,000 people. That's more people who can come to the stadium and can become a fan and go to see games and stuff like that. Because I know so many people who'd love to go to a game, but you can't get a ticket. And then when you can get a ticket, it's extortionate. It's just out of fucking control, the amount of money. So it would just make everything better. But the Glazers aren't going to do it. So while the Glazers are in charge, it's just fantasy, innit? Like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. I think that's where we're at, unfortunately, at the moment. Right, should we dive into what we had planned then, Sam, or what you had planned, should I say?
Yeah,
talk me through it whenever you can.
Obviously, we've had a lot of poor performances, to say the least, over the last couple of weeks. A lot of people have been talking about players being dropped, players like Onana, players like Bruno, players like Rashford. And in terms of squad depth, in certain areas, we do have a lot of options. We do have a lot of people who could play there, who are probably chomping at the bit for an opportunity. So I had an idea is that we'll pick an 11 and we'll try and mostly use players who have not been getting a fair opportunity in terms of starting into, like, obviously certain positions we're kind of limited in what we can do. So we'll just put in people that we think deserve to be there.
But Stu Horn, like Ten Hag does anyway with Bruno.
Yeah. So but the players who I mentioned earlier, we're going to try and pick an 11, and then we're going to have like a little sort of debate. And then if people in the chat want to get involved and you want to put your suggestions in, please do. We're just going to go position by position. Obviously, there's going to be certain positions where you're just going to be like, no, this player has to play because they've not really done anything wrong to deserve being dropped. But there's going to be other positions where you're like, no, I think this guy should get an opportunity. So that's what we'll do. So let us start. I've got a graphic up on the screen. I don't know if you can see it, Nick, but
I can.
Everybody in the chat can see it. We'll start with the goalkeeper. Onana. He's not been great. Lots of mistakes. Bayern Munich. Where was the other one?
Nottingham Forest, where he fell on his arse.
Yeah.
The game recently.
Brentford.
Horrible mistake.
Costing us points, costing us goals.
Galatasaray,
yeah. A lot of games where we should be winning and we're playing against teams who weren't great, and he essentially cost us the game. A lot of people calling for his head and saying Bayinde should get an opportunity. Tom Heaton looked good in pre-season, in my opinion. Would it be worth chucking someone in like that and just giving an Onana a chance out of the spotlight, take the pressure off him? Because as I mentioned on a show a couple of days ago, David De Gea had this same situation when Fergie bought him, and he took him out of the firing line and put Anders Lindegaard in there just because he was getting so much. Remember, on crosses, on corners, he was just getting bullied, wasn't it?
Weak.
Just getting smashed. Weak. So he put Anders Lindegaard to take the pressure of him. So maybe that's something Ten Hag could look at, because we've been very frustrated with the lack of being able to drop certain players.
Yeah.
So Onana's in that category for me. I personally would put Tom Heaton in there, because I think every mistake that Onana has made, I don't think Tom Heaton makes those mistakes. I don't think he lets any of those shots go underneath him. I don't think he falls on his ass. I think he has a stronger hand. He's shown in pre-season he can play out from the back. Obviously not to the levels of that Onana showed last season, but he can do it. And I thought he looked solid in pre-season from what my eye was. So for me, I'd put Tom Heaton in there, but you make your argument for who you want to.
It's hard, because if I put myself in the manager's shoes now, I'm thinking, right, either way, you fucks like whatever it is you do, because if you go to play him again, and he makes a mistake, you're going to get criticised. And then if you take him out, everyone's going to moan the fact that you just spent 45 million quid on a keeper and he's dropping him. He's not even starting him. What's going on here? Blah, blah, blah. So ultimately, whichever way you look at it, it's a minefield, isn't it? I would probably give Bayern an opportunity, because I think if you look at the games we have when we get back, we've got Sheffield United away, I think, and then we've got Copenhagen, and they're not two awful games to try something like that.
But obviously, City.
And then City. So then you get your tune up. Then if they look good and the thingy, then keep them in. If not, maybe bring Onana back into the fold. So I think I would make a change at this point. I said no last time, but I think it's got to a point now where you look at that Brentford game and it's right in the middle of the goal. His diving's really strange for a goalkeeper. I don't get it. It's very not awkward. I don't know what's the word, but it's just different. It's
unusual. It's unusual, isn't it? It's very unusual.
Yeah, let's say that. Yeah,
unorthodox.
So I would give unorthodox. That's the word. Yeah. That's the exact word I was looking for.
A lot of people said with the Onana thing, obviously it started with that Casemiro lazy pass, which, I don't know what he was doing there. Really don't know what he was doing. And then obviously Lindelof lost his man because he was covering over. But at the same time, you as a goalkeeper, when your defenders or players make mistakes, you're supposed to be the last line of defense. And that shot isn't anything special, man. It's not like it's a fucking rifle into the top left corner and you've got no chance of stopping it. It's an easy stop for a goalkeeper of his caliber. So I don't buy the excuses that his team let him down, because you should be saving that regardless.
And also, you buy keepers like you have with Bayern for reasons like that. If your goalkeeper's out of form, if he's injured, any situation. But Ten Hag never seems to rotate. Remember we brought in Butland last season and just never played. So he doesn't do it. I think the manager won't, but I think we should. Now, who that is, whether it's Heaton or Bayern, I'm not really overly fussed. I think one of them should get an opportunity, so I'm happy to throw in whoever.
You remember Dubravka came in the Carabao Cup, didn't he? And he had an absolute shocker.
Just one game, and then it was just,
looked so wobbly, and he was just like, nope, get him out.
Yeah, fuck this. I'm going back to Newcastle. Charles Sam saying Bayern should have started that game. I think and then Scoreboard saying give Tom Heaton a chance. He's always been okay. Either one. Yeah, throw whoever you want in there, Sam. I'm not fussed. I'll
chat.
I'll take that.
Chat, tell me. Who do you want? Do you want
Bayern or Tom Heaton? Who are we throwing in? Because, and also if you're watching this later on, because I appreciate everyone doesn't watch it live, do get your comments in as well.
But while they're doing that, we'll move on to Aaron Gregory. I think Phil Jones should get more games. He's a coach now, isn't he? He's coaching at United.
I believe he's doing something. I don't know what it is. Yeah,
he's coaching one of the academy teams, one of the youth setups, I believe.
If you're talking about resumes, he's got the best resume for medical stuff. So we'll probably get him on there. To be honest,
Physio.
He probably knows what he's talking about. Yeah.
Physio. He can help Donny out. Right back. I don't think there's anybody in who outside of Wan-Bissaka deserves opportunity.
No,
so I don't think he did anything wrong when he was there.
Just on that right back situation, I don't know if you've seen the news with the contracts, because we're going to give Wan-Bissaka a new contract. Igor Dalot's just extended his, didn't he? I think it was last year or a couple of months ago. So that right back spot now, you would think, because there was links with Frimpong and he still wanted another right back. That would say, does that suggest to you that he's happy with both of them?
Maybe because, like we said, with a limited budget, we're sort of looking at options where it's that's nailed down now. Maybe we look at other problem areas and spend money there, and that we can come back to that later. Maybe that's what he's thinking. But should we put Wan-Bissaka in? Because for me, he's been better than Dalot. What's Wan-Bissaka's squad number?
20. Is it late 20s, Wan-Bissaka? It's like 25 or 26 or something. Not 25 because Sancho's 25. Sure, it's late 20s.
22?
I don't know. Do you want me to just search
you
it
Google it.
Right. So
Aaron Gregory is saying, I still think we need a better right back. Who would you say, Aaron? Tell me then.
I mean, it's... I never saw it as a priority in me.
29.
Yeah, I knew it was late 20s. I just couldn't remember what fucking thing.
Cool.
I get what you're saying. If you had the budget and unlimited funds now, I would probably look at someone and maybe sell either Wan-Bissaka or Dalot. But the situation we're in the minute, I think there's other priority positions. Yeah, me personally.
I agree. People in the chat, Bayern, Tom Heaton. Nobody's told me yet, so Tell me who you want.
We can circle back to it.
Yeah.
Back to it.
Left back. This is a tricky one because we've not had an available left back really this season, and the only one we have is Region. And for me, he's looked decent. Like he's looked pretty good when he's come in. But Luke Shaw and Malacia have not really done anything wrong because they haven't featured
Just been
this
injured.
season. But when they are fit, so we're doing this in terms of like everybody's fit. Everybody's fit. So if Luke Shaw and Malacia and Region are fit, are you still starting Luke Shaw, or would you put him in centre back?
No, because Lissandro's. I'd only play Luke Shaw there if Lissandro isn't available. But if we're talking when everyone's fit, I would have, in terms of like priority, I would go Shaw, Region, and Malacia for me from what I've seen. Anyway, I think Malacia's okay. He's had a couple of good games, but Region since he's come in has just like looked really, really good. Not put a foot wrong, really. So he would be behind Luke Shaw for me personally. But Luke Shaw's, when he's on form, he's one of the best left backs in the league. So
yeah, I agree. Right, centre back. This could get interesting because Lindelof last season looked really, really good when Lissandro and Varane were out for different periods. I thought he looked really, really good next to Luke Shaw. I thought they were an excellent pairing. This season, he's looked a bit shaky.
Off it.
He hasn't looked good to me. Varane has looked one of our best centre backs, but can't stay fit. Seems to just be injured all the time. Lissandro's been out, and then when he was in, he didn't look great, but that he was injured and playing with painkilling injections. So that, and then Luke Shaw's been out as well, so he's not been available for session. Harry Maguire hasn't really played, but when he's played, he's looked all right. He's looked decent.
A couple of games. Yeah.
So there's an argument there. Like, do you bring in Harry Maguire and play him because he deserves to play over Lindelof because Lindelof's been out of form, and over Varane because he can't stay fit, and over Lissandro because he's been poor? Is there an argument there?
Yeah, I think when Lissandro gets back from this surgery thing, I'm praying to God it's gonna be like Lissandro last season, because he was one of the best bits of business in the transfer window that was done, hands down. Like, he was solid 7 out of 10 until he got injured against Sevilla, and then it went tits up really. So I'm praying to God that he comes back, the Lissandro that he is. But if he doesn't, and he comes back like he was playing, the start of the season, then there's definitely a debate and a conversation there to be had. Right now, on form, it kills me to say it, but
if everybody's fit right now, based on their form this season, is it Lissandro and Varane, or is it Varane and Maguire at this point?
I don't know. I think his recency bias a little bit with Maguire because the past 2 games he's done relatively well, but I don't know. I can't feel myself saying Maguire over Lissandro. I just can't do it to myself. Although on form right now, I would probably say he's been better, maybe, but long term, I don't know. A bit of a minefield, that, innit? A bit of a mindfuck. What would you say?
I would still go Lissandro and Varane because although Lissandro has looked poor, we know why. Because he was playing essentially injured with painkilling injections. So for me, last season he was one of our best players, if not the best player. So I would play him and Varane. But again, Varane is the question mark for me, which is probably why the rumours were looking at a centre-back in a minute.
Oh, for sure.
Probably
That's
why.
definitely why. Yeah.
So if someone was to drop, I'd probably drop Varane at this point, just because he can't be relied upon, even though he's been our better centre back in terms of form.
Yeah, you only get 2 weeks out of him, don't you? And then he's gone.
Scoreboard is saying Lindelof and Varane. I think Lindelof's been poor, man. I think he's been poor.
Yeah, it's definitely it's opening up now, isn't it, at centre back a little bit. It's not as nailed on just simply because of all the injuries and inconsistencies. So it's definitely not nailed on that, when Lissandro comes back, it's going to be fantastic, or that Varane's going to get a run of games together where you can develop that partnership. That is definitely why we are looking at a centre back now, because you need a young partner alongside Lissandro who's got a bit of stature about him, a little bit like Varane, basically, a younger Varane, which to Debo would be fantastic. But Chivy was saying to me last night,
doesn't like him, does he?
He was saying he's injury prone. He's very like Varane. So yeah, they need to get the scouting right on that one. We'll just keep Lissandro Varane there for now, I would say.
Midfield is interesting because Casemiro has not been great. I would say.
Yeah.
There's been moments like he scored 2 goals against Bayern, but for most of that game he was terrible. The only game he's looked really, really good was the Carabao Cup game against Crystal Palace. When we played him in the league, he was terrible. He gave the pass away. No, that was for Brentford. Sorry, looked terrible against them in the Jesus Christ, what's wrong with my brain? In the Premier League, he's had another red card. Although it's not really his fault, the red card that he's had this season. Like, he had to make that tackle, didn't he? So it is what it is. So I think he's on the line, like, in terms of his position. Bruno, been poor, really, really poor. Captain, not stepped up, hasn't performed. Has he scored a goal this season? One goal? The Burnley game?
I don't even know.
Burnley
Maybe
game?
1 or 2 most. I'm sure he scored against Forest. I'm sure he scored against Nottingham Forest. But even still, he's had one good game this season. Like, we've said it so many times.
Not great at all. Mason Mount, although first couple of games, I wasn't impressed with him at all. The last 2 games he's been in, I think he's been all right. He's getting there. There's been some sort of progression there. Eriksen, I think he's been decent. I think he's been all right. Whether he can cope with the sort of more physical teams, that's the issue with him. We've still yet to see Kobe Mainoo, who looked like he was pre-season. He looked fantastic. I think Hannibal, when he's come in, has been really, really good. I think I really, really enjoyed like his performances so far, and the work ethic, and the sort of stuff he puts in. And then just recently, Amrabat has also come into the team. Finally got a midfield start. Didn't look overly convincing, but looked all right. Looked fine.
Looked better when he moved into the 6 when Casemiro came off.
And then you've got Scott McTominay, who scored 2 goals against Brentford. And does he deserve...
McTominay is better going forward, isn't it? That's where his things are.
That's the thing.
More of a 10, probably.
So here's all the midfielders. So what combination are you going for? Based on form and based on performances put in.
Yeah. Obviously, some of these players that we're putting together probably never played together before.
Yeah.
But what I would be eager to see is Amrabat, Kobe Mainoo, and Mount together as a 3. I think that'd be really, really good. Yeah, Mount as a 10. I think it'd be good. Because everything you need from a midfield, when you talk about layers and kind of the rotation in there, because Kobe can just sit back, Amrabat can push forward, Mason Mount's comfortable all around the pitch. I think that'd be really, really good. I don't think that'll ever happen because Bruno Fernandes is the captain. Casemiro was our best player last season. But if we're talking about opportunity and who deserves it, you could even throw Hannibal in there for me. But I would want to see Amrabat, Kobe Mainoo, and Mason Mount get an opportunity together because I think that could be a well-oiled machine.
I agree with the first 2. I think Amrabat over Casemiro in a minute because Casemiro is... I don't know what's happened there. I really don't. I think it was Paddock and Jay on Paddock said you thought you were going to get 2-3 good seasons out of Casemiro, and it seems like we've only got 1 of this.
You know what it is? It's they for all his career, Casemiro at Madrid, he's sat and protected the defence and been that anchor in front of it. Ten Hag is now asking him in his transitional style of football to push really high up, and it's leaving the team exposed. And I don't think he has the legs necessarily for that. It don't fill you with comfort, does it? You know, when you're watching it, you always feel like there's risk there, and we aren't being rewarded with it at the moment. That
lazy pass that he did for the Brentford goal, I've never seen that for him. I've never seen him do that.
He scanned and thought, there's a little bit of an opening there. Don't risk it. He is a very risky player. Bruno's the same. I think he's trying to instill these quick transitional. If you get the ball, risk it, get it right in there, and it's not working at the minute, and it's leaving him exposed. Yeah,
for me, I would do Amrabat, Kobe Mainoo, and Eriksen in the 10. That's what I would do personally. So we can agree. Let's put Amrabat.
Yeah, in there. Amrabat and Mainoo in there. I think would be nice.
Just move them out the wrong way.
Christian Eriksen for me, I think he's been really. You know what? Anytime he's had a cameo and come on, it's looked good. But I think that's where it starts and stops for me with Christian Eriksen. As a guy coming on when we need to unlock a defence, I think he could do a really, really good job. As a main starter for 90 minutes in your team, I think he can let you down, especially in the latter stages of the game. So that is the only reason why I won't go for him. So you talk about quality on the ball, Eriksen's obviously better than Mount. But then you have to decide with what do you really want from your team? How are you going to play? Do you expect a bit of pressing?
I agree.
Stylistically, I don't know.
I agree. I think you've got in that midfield, you've got that steal and you've got that bite in the Mainu and Amrabat to sort of clear up those when you get countered on or when you get transitioned and lose the ball. And I think if you just tell Eriksen, like, you don't have to worry about that shit. Just stay up there. Once you get the ball, once Mainu feeds you the ball or Amrabat feeds you the ball, you pick a pass out, pick Højlund out, pick Rashford out, pick whoever you want out, and unlock those defences, because that's what we struggled with. Against Brentford, we could not unlock them for the life of us. Like, we just could not do it because we didn't have anybody in the pitch, because Bruno is normally that guy and he wasn't doing it. So it's just like we didn't have anybody to do that. And I think Eriksen comes in, and after 70 minutes, if he is tiring or something, you can bring on a Mount, you can bring on a Hannibal to bring that energy level back up and sort of get the game going again.
There's 2 points to that, actually, which you make interesting. Bruno, I think sometimes he overdoes it with, this might sound stupid, but sometimes he overdoes it with the running and tries to be everywhere on the pitch. Yeah. Whereas Eriksen, he'd stay central and he'd be that kind of nucleus in the middle to supply. And you've got that Danish link as well with Højlund. He obviously knows him really, really well. I'd be open to trying it. I'm happy to put either there. So if you want to put Christian Eriksen there,
what we should do, we'll leave the goalkeeper and the 10 blank, and then we'll put it either in the comments, let us know, and then we'll put it on a poll on the social media, and you guys can pick who you want.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Left wing. Rashford. Rashford has been terrible. Can we say terrible?
Yeah. He's close to terrible, I would say. Yeah.
Not the player we had last season. Even last season when he was quiet, he was able to contribute with assists, contribute with goals. Not necessarily play well, but he would provide something for the team. This season, he's not even doing that. Like, he's not got anything. The only other guy we have, like, the only other thing I can remember him doing is the Højlund assist for that cross, and he put his head on it. That's about it for me. I think when Garnacho
flashes against Brentford, like, there was times he took on his man a couple times.
Like,
and obviously you don't have the left back as well, to kind of overlap.
The talent is there. Like, there's no doubt in the talent of the guy. Like, the guy is on form, fantastic player. Yeah. Much like Anthony Martial, on form, unplayable, like one of the best wingers in the league. But he scored 30 goals, like, for a reason. Do you know what I mean? So exactly. He's not a bad player. So, but when Garnacho's come on, he's excited me more, man. He's caused more trouble. He's caused more goals. He's caused more chances. He's been more direct. He's got an eye for goal. And then when he hasn't, he's made attempts at passes and setting Højlund up. I think I know when he starts, that people have said, oh, he's not good when he starts. But give him a run of games, man. He can't play any worse than a Rashford right now. Give him a run of like 5 games and see how he does, because if he does the same as Rashford, how are we worse off? How is it any worse? Do you know what I mean? Like, I just think I would give Garnacho the run of games. I would give him that run of games and just see how he does. You got Sheffield United, Copenhagen. See what he's got, man. Start him. Drop Rashford and let him know that this performance ain't acceptable, man. You can be dropped and you will lose your position if you don't perform. I would drop him, personally.
Oh, it's like what we were saying in pre-season, wasn't it? It was like he can be a purple patch player, so everyone could be like, oh, look what he did here, but right now, at the minute, he ain't doing it. And when Garnacho comes on, like you said, he works harder off the ball. I feel like his decision making's better. That even his dribbling at times, like, he can really beat a man.
More of a threat. He's more of a threat.
More of a threat. Yeah. Whereas Rashford gets really clouded in his head when he gets past a player and doesn't seem to know what to do with it. So I've never seen Garnacho as a starter at the moment, but it's kind of, if you look at the scales, they are kind of tipping that way at the minute, where you're like, would it be the worst thing in the world to start him for a couple of games and see how he gets on? And maybe that gives Rashford the kick up the arse that he needs. So let's put Garnacho there, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Right wing. I mean, the cursed fucking right wing, as I call it. So obviously, Mason Greenwood's situation, he was playing out there before the legal issues, and I believe Ten Hag was expecting him to be back in the squad this season, because they had it all set up, ready to go. And then obviously the backlash, he's now on loan at Getafe. So that's gone. You've then had the Antony situation, that is still ongoing legally. So I don't want to talk too much about that because it's still ongoing. I think it's unfair to make comments on stuff that we don't know what's happening yet. You then have the Sancho situation, which we've spoken about it many times on this channel. It looks like he's heading out the door in January, if not sold, probably on loan. And when he was playing, was he performing? I'd say no.
And also, he's moaning about the right-hand side, but he prefers to play on the left.
Yeah.
So, make it make sense.
But he at Dortmund, he played like 50-50, didn't it? 50% of his game was on the left. 50-50. So, it's not like...
He does prefer playing on the left. Yeah. Like, it's... I don't know.
It's not like Jayden. It's not like it's a foreign position. He's playing out of position, man. Like he's well versed in that role. Mm. And then we've had Pellistri. We've been crying out for Pellistri to get an opportunity, and when he has played, I thought he's done all right. He's done decent. Okay. Works hard. I think his final pass or final decision needs some work. I think he panics a little bit when he gets to like the last part of the game, whether it's to hit the ball, the cross, or shoot.
Yeah.
I think he panics a little bit and he lacks a little in the strength department. He's not a big lad, hasn't got a lot of muscle. So I think that struggles. So that right wing spot is wide fucking open. Bruno could play there, but he's not playing well. Mount could play there, not a true winger. So I think you lose some width, as we saw against Brentford. We lost that width totally. When Antony's there, you have it, and it stretches those defenders out. So that right wing spot for me is wide open. So who would you put there? Everyone's fit. Everyone's fit.
Yeah. It's strange, right? Because I think anyone on their best day, or what I've seen the best level from them, I would play Antony there. But like you said with the Rashford thing at the minute, it's open for debate, and I think I've seen enough from Pellistri now to know that I don't think he's a start. I wouldn't start him in big games, let's say, for example. So I know what you're going to get from him. I would keep him on the bench. Jadon Sancho, even if he was available, just wasn't pulling enough trees.
Sorry, I mean to interrupt you. I forgot Ahmad.
That's what I was just about to mention.
Sorry.
The only person we haven't seen anything from is Ahmad, and he's coming back from injury now. And people can say, oh, he was shit at Rangers or whatever, blah, blah, blah. What he did for Sunderland, he fucking pulled up trees for them. And the goals he scored as well. When you watch Antony cut in and he misses like 4 out of 5 shots, Ahmad's bagging them. He did it in the playoffs in the playoff semi-final, I think, against Luton. He's done it consistently for Sunderland throughout. And Ten Hag likes them inverted wingers who work hard off the ball, and Ahmad fits that profile perfectly. So, obviously, if you're going to ask me, who do I think deserves an opportunity, it's going to be Ahmad every day of the week, because I've seen Pellistri, Sancho bollocks is going on, probably going to leave in January, and Antony's been like that. So, for me, it's Ahmad.
And then the other options are Mount, who's not a winger, and I think he's better in a 10. Bruno, I hate him on the right wing. Really, really dislike Bruno on the right wing.
You can't beat a man. No. Like, it just doesn't work there at all. So.
I would, if Ahmad's fit, I'd see what he's got. I'd play him and just see what he's got.
Can't hurt, can it?
That's
like,
what
if he starts playing in form.
Yeah. And then if not, I think Pellistri's your other option. I'd bring Pellistri off the bench as your other option, just to sort of, like, imagine if you've been facing Ahmad for 70 minutes and you're dealing with that, and then you go, oh yeah, Pellistri's now coming on. You just, as a fullback, you're like, for fuck's sake, man, like, I can't.
More direct in there.
So I think that give you a thing. He's probably, like, if we're being honest, he's going to play Antony, isn't he? Like,
yeah, this is what we would probably do, not what Ten Hag's going to do.
I think we're in agreement there. Ahmad, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's put Ahmad there. And then
striker.
It's Højlund, isn't it? It's just fucking Højlund, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, if we're trying to be as fair as we can, Martial has come on the odd time. What game was it we came on and was really, really good towards the end of it? What was the game for Brentford?
Crystal Palace.
Was it Palace that he came on? It might have been the
Galatasaray.
I don't know. He had a cameo. He came on for like the last 10 minutes. It might have been Bayern Munich actually, because it was Bayern Munich. He came on against Bayern Munich, and 10 minutes was just tearing it up. It was like dribbling past players. Made the first goal happen when Casemiro scored. So I know he's got the ability in there, but then you have to question the drive and the injuries and everything behind it. So obviously I wouldn't start him over Højlund, but I wouldn't necessarily completely rule him out. I still think he can have an effect in certain games, Martial, but Højlund's got to be there, I know, the way he's
I think
playing at the moment.
on form, Højlund is in over Martial. Or on form alone, and then my personal opinion is I think Højlund's way more of a goal threat. Even when he's not getting much service and much of the ball, he drops deep, he brings players in, he drags defenders away. Martial, I just think when he's not in for it, he goes missing, doesn't he? Like when he's not up for it, he just goes, fuck it, and just wanders around and just doesn't really do it. Whereas Højlund, even when he's not getting it, he's like, right, I'm gonna go find the ball, and he'll just fuck off and go get the ball and bring it back, which I like a lot. And I think he's been a goal threat. He's had 2 goals disallowed, which I think one of them should have stood. And he has scored important goals. Not got off in the league yet, but I think it'll come with time. So for me, it has to be Højlund. But if you're in the chat, please do shout who you would pick. But yeah, it's Højlund for me all day.
The worrying thing is, if Højlund gets injured, God, like, let me touch wood because I could just see it happening. But if he does get injured, it's like, are you going to play there? I don't want to see Rashford down there.
It's Martial.
I know it's going to be Martial, but then he has not got the intensity. You look at Højlund's metrics, like pressing wise, what he does, the work off the ball, what he does for the team. Martial ain't putting no way near that, so your attack significantly drops off then. So that really worries me. If I see Højlund, maybe another back injury where you've got to be careful with it, I'm like, we're going to be fucked. We're already fucked anyway, let's be honest. The season's been a disaster so far. But if that happens, that's when I'm like, call it a day, mate. Call the season off. But he's in there every day of the week. So what should we do with... We've got the graphic there with the actual starting 11, haven't we? So we'll keep hold of that. And then just the 10 and the goalkeeper, was it?
Starting the goalkeeper, we will put on our Twitter and we'll put on our Instagram, and you guys can vote. Or just drop it, if you're watching this later, drop it in the comments who you would pick. Or just put your 11 you would put in the... So it's very important. It's not just the best 11 of the best players. It's players who on form and who you would give game time to over people. Like, we all know Rashford's a great player, but he ain't performing right now. We all know Bruno's a great player, but he ain't performing right now. Onana was a great player last season, but he ain't performing right now. So this is the idea. So if you just put Onana, Bruno, Rashford, you've missed the point. But just sort of the thing. A couple of comments. 11. It's legs over 90 minutes for Ericsson. From Aaron, I agree. Sylvanius Charles, I love that name. On Friday's show, I mentioned Cass is an issue with his ball retention and mobility. Next game gives the ball away, leads to goals. So, pretty much. Scoreboard, how much of a lot of player is out of form? Is fitness, or is he getting used to the new style with Onana? I think with Lissandro, it is fitness because he was playing injured. The other players, I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, the issue in the Brentford game was when it was a really weird situation. You had Johnny Evans starting the goal kicks and then passing to Onana, and you could tell Evans didn't want it. He kept telling him to go long, but then Onana was like, well, I want to play how I'm confident, I can play out from the back. And then that confusion caused errors, really. So obviously it doesn't help. You need Lissandro in that team so much for ball progression because Varane isn't great at it. Lindelof's okay at playing that long ball.
He's press resistant as well, Lissandro.
Yeah,
so you
can't get near him. He's important from Onana to Lissandro to your Casemiro, and then you can build up through that. Whereas now it's like, who the fuck do you pass to from the back? You're not going to give it Maguire because you know what Maguire could be like sometimes, shaky as fuck. And then Johnny Evans equally. It's like
that's what you said, didn't you, with the Johnny Evans? Maguire hates playing out from the back. That's not who he is. Like he doesn't do well because he's not got the mobility.
He can step out when he has protection, but he doesn't. Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's not Alessandro.
He can't take the ball, turn, and then go past. Like it just doesn't happen. Palistri on the right wing for scoreboard. On the left, he'd give Sancho a go. Aaron Grogy is saying Sancho. Serious question from Aaron. Do you think Hannibal does anything well except run? I don't know what his attributes are. I think he's got good aggression. I think he's got a good passing range, energy levels. I think he's got a shot on him as well. He's got a decent shot on him. We saw that goal that he scored. I think he's got some decent attributes. Is he at top level? Probably not. But I think he offers a lot more than what Bruno or what sort of Mount have done as of late. So
I've always said, my stance on Hannibal. I've never thought he could make it as like a starting player at United. I'm always open to be proven wrong. He's had a couple of good cameos so far. But I think that's because stylistically, Ten Hag's football suits him a lot more in terms of what you get from him off the ball. On the ball, there's still questions for me with Hannibal, but he's young, innit? You know, he's still got time to develop. Could improve that side of his game, so I'm always open to seeing that.
Blasting Harry Maguire ready to bring back the glory days to Old Trafford. I mean, fucking hell.
He's been okay the past couple of weeks. Like, I've tried to not get on his back because he's, you know, what worse can you do at the minute? We haven't got any other centre backs available.
Palestri is still a little lightweight from Aaron. I'd personally put Anthony in there. Shah Sam saying Anthony. Could always bring back Vegas. Absolutely not. Shah Sam saying Hoyland. Lou saying respect to all for somewhat positive about this dead club. Always positive, Lou. Appreciate that, mate.
Who's all these been what? Did you say?
Respect for you to all remaining somewhat positive about this dead club. Lewis.
Yeah, well, you've got to be. If we don't, then I don't know.
We'll cry, mate.
Anyone else?
We'll fucking cry.
I mean, just whilst we're on that kind of topic of negativity, there's some people on Twitter, man, who you know have a big following, and they just have these really strong agendas that every tweet I'm seeing them from. To be honest, I don't know why they follow him anymore. But they just seem to have these really strong agendas, like if Rashford sneezes or Bruno sneezes, it's like, how many times have I've said this? It's like self-entitlement. Like, I said this about Bruno ages ago. It's like, do you not just want your team to perform well? Like, obviously criticism is valid and you can have that, but when that's the only thing you're mentioning after a game when there's been a million other things to discuss, it kind of gets to a point where it's like, this is the fueled agenda now. Like, I mean, just not do this, please.
Aaron, I like how Sam abandoning the squad numbers after Aaron Wabsackett. Yeah, I just couldn't be asked like trying to figure out what number.
Why not after it? That'd be the graphic stuff.
Amrabat is number 4. I know that one. Hoyland's number 11. I know that one.
Yeah. Garnacho's 17.
17.
Ahmad? I should know Ahmad's number.
Oh, you should know this one. What's Shaw?
Yeah.
What's Shaw's number?
Shaw's 23, I think.
23.
Ahmad.
Varane is 19.
Yeah, correct.
Martinez is
4, is it?
No, Amrabat's 4.
Oh, no, not 4, sorry. Martinez is... Lindelof's 2.
Is he 5? No, Maguire's 5.
No, Maguire's
is he 3? 3?
I've got Lissandro on the back of my shirt, literally from last season.
Go have a look.
6.
6.
He's 6. Yeah, okay. He's 6.
And then Ahmad is 16 apparently.
16. Oh, he must have got a new number.
And then what's Kobe Mainu?
39, I want to say. I think he's 39. If I've got that right, I deserve fucking brownie points. Let me know in the chat if I've got that right. I'm sure
anyways,
he's 39.
Kobe Mainu's number. Give me the Kobe Mainu number. Let me find it.
It's definitely late 30s, I'm sure. Unless it's changed. I can't even search it because my fucking phone's dead. But
anyways, so we have left the goalkeeper spot open for you lot. We'll put it in the comment. Put it in the comments or go on our social media and vote for it there. We've got Wabsacker at right back, Martinez and Varane at centre backs. Why is that question mark 23? For fuck's sake. Luke Shaw at left back, Amrabat and Mainu in the midfield, and then we've left the 10 spot open for you guys to vote for. Garnacho on the left, Hoyland up front, and Ahmad on the right. So there you go. Kobe Mainu 73. That can't be right.
Nah, surely not. I thought his number had changed. I'm sure his number had changed. But anyway, it is what it is.
37. There we go.
Yeah, late 30s. I knew it was the late 30s. Yeah, so that is the team. Let us know if you agree, like Sam said, with the 10, Ericsson or Mount, or if you want to put Hannibal in there, you're more than welcome to. And then the goalkeeper one's definitely an interesting one. We haven't got football now. Sheffield United is not this weekend, the weekend after, so some people may be forced to watch England. I'm not going to watch it myself. Nope. We were just going to dedicate the time to kind of putting content out on this channel and try a variety to kind of spread it out. Tomorrow, we've got an idea where we're doing... So I'm sure you guys will remember when Todd Bowley came out with the fact that we should do a North versus South kind of all-stars game. Tomorrow, we're going to do a show where we get 2 of the lads, or 2v2, whatever it is, to decide the North squad versus South and captains and managers and blah, blah, blah. It's going to be really, really fun. So make sure you tune in for that. That'll be around 7 o'clock. And of course, we'll have other stuff later on in the week, which is kind of different from usual press conferences, watch-alongs, etc. So do stay locked in. Do leave a like on the video for us and subscribe to the channel. And make sure you drop us a follow on socials if you haven't already. All the graphics are at the bottom of your screen, and the handles, should I say. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're absolutely everywhere. So if you want your kind of football fix daily, then yeah, hit us up, please. Anything else, Sam?
Yeah, Jay Motti be on next week. So if you're a fan of Paddock, a fan of Jay Motti, subscribe to the channel. I think it's going to be on Thursday, but could change. But placeholder, probably Thursday. But Jay's a busy man, so it might change. But for now, yeah, keep your eye out because Jay will be on the channel, and we're working on a couple of other people, so we will let you know. But yeah, keep locked and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate all your support.
Yeah, there'll be a couple more pre-records as well coming out later on in the week, which is just little fun videos that are different as well. So yeah, thank you to everyone for watching. Have a lovely rest of your week. It's the Wednesday, so only a couple more days till weekend, and hopefully it won't be long before we have football back. Take care, everyone. See you in a bit.
Peace.